Hey, what's up, lovers and trolls? It's Opposite Synonyms here, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I was actually thinking about starting this video off by freestyling to like this rap beat, but of course I thought about it and I said, you guys are already suffering from me not uploading any videos recently, so I'm just gonna let it slide and not do it this time. But hey, watch out next time. In a couple videos from now, you may see me just freestyle over the beginning of the video. But anyway, guys, moving on to the gameplay. I'm using the MP5k, not clay. That'd be bad if a gun was made out of clay. I don't think anyone would want to use that. It'd be like shooting pellets. Anyway, moving on. I rushed this entire game with the MP5k on cracked. I think it's a domination game. Go 58-5, and oh, I just love this gameplay. I don't know why. I still got a lot of deaths, or I don't know if that's considered a lot. But I'm really proud of this gameplay. I rushed around the entire time, and I was just in their spawn, and I got my kill streaks really quickly. And hopefully you guys do enjoy the gameplay. Make sure you watch it. I think my kill streaks were the 5, 8, 9 kill streak setup. So I had the napalm strike as well as the blackbird and the chopper gunner on. So hopefully you guys do enjoy the gameplay. And you guys may or may not have noticed that my voice sounds a little bit different in this commentary, and it's not because I'm messing around with the audio settings, but instead I do have a cold, so I apologize if my voice is not to its regular standard, or if it does sound different than my regular voice. I apologize about that. Hopefully this cold does go away soon. But anyway, moving on to the story of this week. So to set things up for you guys, my next door neighbor is allowing me to use his car, and you guys might be wondering, what? Why is he allowing you, Billy, to use his car? Because you seem like a crazy kid. Well, basically, he has an extra car laying around, and I'm a senior in high school, in case you guys didn't know. I do have my driver's license, and he said, hey, if you could drive my daughter to school every day, I will let you use my car. And he has a company car laying around in his driveway, so it's just an extra car, and he doesn't need it, so he gave it to me just for this little bit of time, just for this year. And he said, hey, just please drive my daughter to school, and everything will go swell. So I'm like, all right, sounds good. So I showed up to the house on Monday, and I'm waiting for the girl, and I told her originally to be ready by 7:10. And just so you guys know, I should be leaving around 7:20 around my house if I want to get there like right on time, or like pushing it. So basically, I got to her house 7:10, and I'm waiting there for 10 minutes, and she finally comes out. I'd say, all right, I'll give her a little bit of space. 7:18, she was probably there the right time. She was actually there. So she came in, and I was like, all right, come on, we got to go. And she's like, oh, wait, I don't need this book. So she runs inside, puts the book inside, and I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous. She comes back in the car, and just so you guys know, this is a Monday, so I have to carry a bunch of shit into school. I have to carry my book bag, 3 binders, my guitar, my lunch, and my running bag for cross country after school. So I'm carrying all this stuff. I have to go back to my house to pick up all that stuff that I said before, because I couldn't carry it all the way over to her house next door. So it's probably around 7:22 or so by the time I leave, so we're pushing it. And I'm going fast. I'm driving really fast, trying to get to school on time. So right before I pull into school, though, there were these crazy freshman parents, and it's the worst, guys. If you're driving to school, or high school specifically, and you have these freshman mothers in front of you, be careful, because they have no idea what the hell they're doing. So make sure you're careful around them, because they're just like, I don't know where my son Jimmy's got to go, so I'm just going to try and drive like a crazy maniac. Or you could just take the excuse and say that she's a woman. That also works. I know it works all the time, but basically there was this lady driving in front of me, and I was freaking out because she was driving like a maniac. And what happened was I actually had to slam on the brakes one time because she was driving so crazily, and I was just like, screw this, I'm gonna take a secret entrance into school. And that secret entrance happened to be backed up, so I finally got into school, pulled in. I'm like, shit, I'm almost late. So about 3 minutes until the bell rang, so I ran inside, got all my shit, and I'm trying to carry it into school. I dropped my lunch like 30 times. Remember, I'm carrying all this stuff, and I'm just flipping out. I'm like, I'm not going to make it on time to class. So the first thing I had to do was drop off my guitar. Now, I didn't have guitar first period that day, so I walked in, and I'm like, all right, I got to drop off this guitar. So I walk in, put my guitar in, and what do I hear? The bell rings. I'm late for my first ever high school class, and you guys need to know, I'm never late for my classes. I don't like being late for things. It just doesn't seem right in my system. So I was like, you know what, screw this, I'm late for my first class. Whatever, it happens to everybody. So I'm like, all right, finally I can put this lunch and all this stuff in my locker, because the thing that happened was I dropped my lunch like multiple times as I was walking into school, as I said before, but the bag had ripped open, so I had to carry all my lunch and my binders to my locker. So as I see my locker from a distance, and yes, my locker is number 69, you can laugh all you want. So I see it from a distance, and I see that there's a lock on it, and I never put a lock on it. So as you know, I'm late for school, so I show up to my locker, and I'm like, wow, someone put a lock on it. So I had to put all my stuff down, went to go find the assistant principal. He was nowhere to be found, looked for 5-10 minutes, and I came back to my locker. I'm like, you know what, screw this, I'm gonna have to carry all my binders this class, but I can't carry this lunch. So what I did was I grabbed a piece of notebook paper from my binder, and I wrote a little note to the person's locker below me, and I said, hey, I'm sorry about this. I'm looking for the assistant principal. I apologize that I have to put my lunch in your locker. Hopefully I'll try and get it out of here before soon, or before the end of the day. So that was the worst part about it. I left my lunch in her locker, and it was so awkward that I had to do that. But that's my morning. That was my Monday morning. It really sucked, but I did finally get to my class. I was about 20 minutes late, so that was what happened on Monday. But then that wasn't the end of it. Something happened on Friday. So I'm sitting in my anatomy class, and I just finished taking a test, and I was sitting there relaxing, looking into space, looking forward to the weekend, and yes, I totally stole that from Rebecca Black's song. Moving on, so we receive a knock on the door, and the person says, "Will Billy Blank, insert my last name, please go see the assistant principal of the school?" So this assistant principal happened to be the same person I saw for the lock situation, so he sort of handles the discipline of our school. So you guys know me, I'm never in trouble in high school, unless you didn't know that. I barely ever get in trouble in my high school. I've probably been in his office 2 or 3 times, so I'm walking down there wondering, what the hell happened? So I walk down there, I'm sitting in the office, and there was a girl sitting there, so I strike up a conversation. I'm like, "Hey, so why are you in here?" And she's like, "Oh, well, I hit my friend's car, and basically I didn't tell the assistant principal, I don't want to say his last name, I didn't tell him until 3rd period, so I've been here all day." And I'm like, "That doesn't make any sense. Why are you here?" She's like, "I don't know." She's like, "But what are you doing here?" I'm like, "I don't know, I just randomly got called down." And she's like, "Oh, well, there's 2 parents talking to..." Oh, wow, I have to bleep out his name now. So 2 parents talking to the assistant principal, and so I'm just like, oh shit, that might be my parents. Oh, what is going on? And so I was freaking out a little bit, and she's like, "Yeah," and she gave me some descriptions of what they looked like, and they sort of sounded like the descriptions of what my parents would look like. So I was freaking out a little bit inside, and I was like, shoot, what if they somehow randomly found crack cocaine in the car that I'm borrowing from my neighbors, even though I don't do drugs? What if someone just broke in and put it in there as a joke? That wouldn't be so good. So I was thinking of the worst, and I went up to the door and knocked on it a couple times, and the assistant principal was like, "Hey, please go away. We'll talk to you in a minute," or something like that. So I was sitting there just worrying the whole time what was going on, and finally the girl that I carpool with walks in the room, and she's like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" I'm like, wow. He called me downstairs, the assistant principal, and she says, "Oh, you don't have to worry about anything. Basically what happened is this girl that you're sitting here talking to accidentally hit the car, my dad's car, and that's the whole situation. There's no marks on it, nothing that big. My parents are talking inside." Wow, I have to beep out his name again. Anyway, so we're sitting in there, and I'm finally relaxing. I'm like, yes, I'm not in trouble at all, thank God. And so they finally break up from that conference. The parents leave from the assistant principal's office without mentioning his name for the 17th time. So they finally leave, and then the assistant principal takes a little walk with me, and he goes, "Hey, so you're not in trouble or anything. Basically what happened is the girl that you were sitting there talking to hit your car, or hit the car of the persons you're borrowing." So I was like, yes, I know, I understood the whole situation. Sorry about that, I hit my microphone. So that was sort of my whole week, and it was just a catastrophe of events, and I just couldn't handle it. So that was my week, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy that little bit of a story. Sorry it was so hard to explain it for you guys. I literally took like 8 takes, but I'm going to leave it as it is. I thought it was pretty funny the way I explained things. But anyway, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this commentary. Again, if you would leave a like, that'd be very beneficial. Yes, that'd be very beneficial. Please leave a like rating, and I will be very happy. I will give you all A+s in my grade book. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching this video. My name is Opposite Synonyms, and peace out! Sorry, Crazy Gunner. My bad. Bye.